Hi everyone, this is Rihanna from A Frugal Life, and today we're going to be talking about skills and hobbies that you can do at home that will actually save you money in the long run. So the first skill I'd like to talk about is sewing. So I actually learned to sew with my grandmother when I was 5 years old, and I've been building on those earlier Barbie doll clothes making skills ever since. So I learned to sew small things when I was little and continued to build those skills as I went on throughout the years. You can do the same thing even if you're starting as an adult. You can start with small projects, little projects like bags and aprons, or small things that you want to sew for the kitchen or for your bathroom, or even just learning the basic stitches, sewing by hand or by machine, and then build on those skills as you go. So the way I recommend learning to sew, if you don't have a friend or family member to teach you, is to go onto YouTube and search how to sew. You're going to get thousands and thousands of results. You want to narrow it down by maybe a project that you want to do, or a skill that you want to learn to start out with, like straight stitching or elastic bands. And once you've decided what to make, just go to the craft, hobby, or sewing store and purchase just the items you need for that project. Then follow along with that project, and then you've got some skills under your belt. You don't have to make a whole bunch of projects. If you don't even love to sew, you don't have to continue to sew things on your own, like gifts and aprons and clothing, but you can use those skills to save money on things you would usually pay for, like alterations of thrift store clothes, alterations of discount clothes, mending of clothes that you've had for a long time that you love, taking in clothes and changing sizes for kids' clothes that you're passing down. There's all sorts of things you can do with the skill of sewing that's going to save you money in the long run. Is really something that you have to want to do, because it does require a little bit of a learning curve to start out with, but it's not hard and it's not dangerous. There's been too many things in the media about pressure canners blowing up that has blown up the myth of pressure canning being a dangerous thing to do. It's not dangerous. All you have to do is follow the directions, and learning how to can as easy as going to the ball canning website and start following the directions. You can also search up tons of different YouTubers on canning who will teach you how to do the basics. And you can even join groups in your area that will do it together once COVID is over, of course. So canning is something that you need a little bit of things. So canning is something that you need a few supplies to start out with, but you can start out slow. All you really need to water bath can is a great big pot with some canning jars and a jar lifter, and you're good to go. Once you start wanting to do pressure canning, I recommend the Carry Instant Pot for electric canning, or a regular on the stove top pressure canner that you can purchase on Amazon or any local hardware or kitchenware store. And once you get started with canning, you're saving money right and left. You can store up canned beans, canned vegetables, canned fruit, seasonal produce, all sorts of things that will last you all year long, which means that you can purchase things when they're in season, can them, and store them away when they're not in season, and you'll save a ton of money at the grocery store. So cooking and baking is absolutely a skill and a hobby that you or someone in your household needs to have if you're going to have a frugal lifestyle. So eating out is not your go-to for frugal living. You also really don't want to get those meal boxes or instant or convenience foods. Once you start really deep into frugal living, you need to know how to cook. So make cooking your hobby. Learn how to cook online or through YouTube, or invite friends or family members over that know how to make great dishes that you love and ask them to teach you. So cooking, in addition to saving you money on eating out, will also save you money on entertaining, because you can cook all of the items yourself without having to buy pre-convenienced items at a fast food restaurant, a regular restaurant, or even Costco or the deli. And lastly, cooking and baking is actually a skill that can save you at Christmas, holidays, and birthdays, because you can make great things like fudge and cookies and cakes and give them away to your friends or family for presents, and save a ton of money that you would be spending at specialty stores. So number 4 does require a little bit of space and a little bit of skill and a little bit of supplies, but just a little bit of all of those things, and that's gardening. You do have to have a little bit of space for gardening, maybe a shovel and some seeds and some pots, or if you have a little bit of land, you can plant your items right outside. But things like seed starters can be purchased or made out of things like egg cartons and canning jars and other things like that. And then also you can get seeds from friends and family members and seed swaps totally for free. So gardening, if you're willing to take hand-me-downs, can actually be a totally free hobby that earns you herbs and vegetables all year long. So number 5 is definitely not for everyone, but it is raising animals. So we raise chickens for eggs. We don't eat the chickens, but we do raise chickens for eggs. And it ends up getting me almost 5 dozen eggs a week during high laying times and sort of like a dozen a week during low laying times, because chickens do stop laying for a few months a year. Fortunately, I'm in California, so there's not really a long cold season. So my chickens lay pretty much all year round, with a few of them taking some weeks off. We got to talk to them about that. So raising chickens is a little tiny bit of money upkeep in the beginning, in that you have to get chicks or chickens, you have to get feed and a place to put them. But after you've got all of that put together and the chickens are happy in their coop, it is so cheap to raise chickens. We literally water them from a garden hose and we give them feed from the feed store, and they give us so many more eggs than the cost of feed. So raising chickens does require a little bit of skill, but you can learn it very easily online. I will actually put a card up above on how to get started with chicks, because where I live, it's chick season. And if you have any questions about raising chickens, go ahead and put them in the comments down below. I'm happy to refer you to some links. Number 7 is running or dancing or exercising. So anything where you're moving your body. You can actually do this totally free. You do not need to join a gym. You can learn to dance online. You can learn all sorts of different exercises online. You can learn martial arts or yoga online. You can learn all sorts of things online for free from YouTube by just putting it in the YouTube search bar. You can actually do it in your living room with your friends or family. So you save money on the fact that you're not going to a gym. You save money on the fact that you're not paying for things like dance classes for the kids, and you're having fun with your friends and family, and you're doing it at home under quarantine where it's safe. Number 8, and this is one that I totally love, and this is photography. So I do have a Canon T5i, I think, digital camera, but I don't use it that much anymore because the cameras on cell phones have actually gotten so great that you can do most of your photography right on the cell phone. So right now I am videotaping myself for YouTube on the cell phone. I actually take amazing pictures on my cell phone. I did invest in some ring lights and some other lights way back in the beginning when I started YouTube. I will put the links to the ones I love down below. I've also put a link to the camera that I have down below, but I use my digital camera as well as my phone camera for videography and photography. So you can get started very cheaply by just starting with your phone camera. And your phone camera will do things for you like to take family photos, take wedding pictures, take pictures of outdoor events, do all sorts of things that you would normally pay for. You can actually take a course on Udemy that I absolutely love on photography. I will put the link down below to that one if you do have a digital camera, but you can also take courses online for free on how to take amazing pictures on your phone. So this is a hobby that will save you a ton of money down the line. And if you get really good with it, you can actually charge friends and family and maybe even people in your community for taking pictures of their events and their kids. So sorry about the lighting today. I'm in the middle of forest fires in California, and it is crazy, insane, apocalypse-like weather outside. I am done for today, but I will put some links up here and a subscribe button up here so we can talk later.